Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am holding the camera, so apologies if it's a bit unsteady. I'll be doing an overhead tutorial in a moment, but I just wanted to show you this little concept that I've come up with. So it's basically like a concertina at the front of the card and then another overlay of card with die cut apertures through it. And then I've done double-sided toppers that swing, but obviously you can cut out your stamps. You need them to be symmetrical, that's the only thing. And you can do it from 12-inch wide card A4 where you add on a little bit of back, which I'll show you, and also when you use 8.5 by 11 you'll have to add a little piece onto the back as well, just to get it to the full size to close. But if you're using 12-inch cardstock you don't have to, but it's really cool. So let's get going. I'll just set the camera up. Right, here we are. So like I say, when I close it, I had them dangling. You can have them fixed, but if you can see, you'll be limited to the size here as well. So you need it to be able to fit inside the card. If you're only making small ones, then you can have it fixed. But I like to pop them in, and I like to give them a little bit of a spin up first. Just twiddle them around and pop them in there, so that when they open up the card, it does a little spin. Probably didn't see that, but there you go. So let's get started on this one, and thanks guys that have subscribed, liked and shared all my videos. I really do appreciate it, and if you haven't subscribed I really would appreciate you doing that. So what we're going to do is, my channel, if you haven't seen me before, is all about the know-how. So I just like to give you the measurements and the tools, etc., of what you're going to need to create this card. So the base card, now I used a printed hunky-dory card, so it had a pattern on it on the inside. The other thing to mention is when you open up the card flat, the back never opens flat, okay? So do any decorating on this inside panel before you finish the card. So this is a whole sheet underneath, and then I've overlaid my part at the front. So it's already printed and got design. But obviously you can add stamps and everything to your white sheets, etc. So this is A4, so it's 11 3/4. If it's 12 you don't have to add card, but you can see that I'm going to have to add like 1/4 inch at the back there when it's finished to make it the full DL size. If you're not worried about it, then don't worry about it. 11 you're going to have to make it up to whatever size envelopes you use in America. So all you need to do for this is really simple. You're just going to score it at 2, 4, 6 and 8. Okay, 2, 4, 6 and 8. So that's why, because it's in thirds, you've got that little overhang there. So that's that bit. And then if you take another piece, so you want it to be your 8 1/4 in width, and to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't go any much more than 7. You could cut it to 8, but you're going to be cutting this down anyway, and then just score that in half. So that's going to be at 3 1/2. Okay, and this is the bit that I'm going to overlay on the top with my aperture. So I'm just going to give that a little score. I'll move the scoreboard out of the way now actually. So what I've got with this one is I'm going to bring these folds concertina. So the first one's going to come forward, back, like that. So you're literally just making that shape. So you've got like the M on the front there. The end one has to come towards me. This is when you pull out, and it goes flat now, but when you put the front piece on it doesn't. Okay, so when we put the overhang on it doesn't go flat anymore. So make sure that everything's all sorted out and scored and burnished, etc., before you go any further. So we've done that, and then we've done this bit. So this bit's going to sit over the top. Now the other thing that I've done is I've taken a piece of pink, so it's a nice contrast colour, and I'm going to be using an aperture that's this size, okay, this little one here. So I just cut out my frames. So I put 2 dies together like this just to make my frame, tape them down, never let them cross over or they'll be ruined. Okay, so I've got my lovely die there, and then what I'm going to do with this frame, we don't need that one at the moment, but what I'm going to do with this frame is just fold it in half. Okay, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I might zoom in a little bit, just bear with me. Okay, zoomed in a little bit more. So I'm just going to bend that over and not fold it until that meets, and then put a fold in the end, because you're only folding it at the top and the bottom. And again, make sure all these line up, get it to come round and give that a little pinch. Now the next thing I need to do is to cut my aperture out. Okay, so I've got my frame and I'm going to cut the hole, which is going to be the same size as this inner piece. So we need to cut that out of this. Now the reason I kept this little piece here is it's not obvious where halfway is on this without measuring it. So you can draw a line in it, or alternatively you could just fold it in half. So if I fold this in half, and again just bend it, it doesn't matter that I ruin this because I'm not going to be using it. Just folding it in half like this. Just get it over its card, so just bear with. You can put it on the scoreboard and work out where half is, or alternatively you could cut it in half with your paper trimmer. So just get that going, just make sure it's all lined up. And this would be my guide to get my aperture in the right place on here, because I've got nothing else to guide me. So then you decide where you want your aperture to be. If you've got a pattern on the bottom of this card, then you might want your aperture to be up a bit higher. You can have it dead centre, a bit lower, whatever it needs to be. And then we're going to take our centre die, so the middle die, the smaller one, and we're going to have that, it's going to be halfway. So I'm going to take some tape, and whenever you tape anything onto card, sometimes it can be really, really super sticky, and it can, you know, damage the paper, etc. So if we just pop this down to where we want it, like that, and I'll just put a bit of tape on there just to stop it from moving around. And now I can overlay my die and get that butted in, make sure it's in the right place. Let's give it a little wiggle, I'll feel it sitting there in a minute. There we go. So now I know that's in the right place. So I can take some more tape and make it go onto the metal, but don't make it go on the good side. This bit's going to be waste, so tape in that bit, and we can now remove this piece. Don't want to come off. It's my nails. I just painted them. Oh my word, they're a little bit loud, aren't they? Sun came out, I got overexcited. So just take that away. Now you know that it's in the right place for halfway, and now you can run that through your die cutting machine. So because my die cutting machine is only, well, I've got an electronic one there at the back, but it'd be really noisy and take a little bit longer. So I'm just going to cut mine down a little bit smaller. So where we had it 7, because I know I'm going to use mine smaller anyway, and I like to decorate the edges. So I'm just going to cut mine down so that it's going to fit. So I need to have it, come on Sarah, spin it around. I'm going to have it so that it's just under 3 inches each side. Could have kept it the other way, couldn't I? Done that bit. And I'm not worried about it not being even at the moment because I'm going to cut it down at the end, but I just need it to be small enough. I never thought about it just now to go through my die cutting machine. What am I doing? I've already done that side. No, that's right. Oh my word, what am I doing? So 3 inches there on the fold. This is only to get it through my die cut machine. If you've got a big one, you don't need to do it. But yeah, it probably would have been easier just to turn the electronic large one on and put it through. But hey, we're there now, aren't we? It's just I have this little one ready to go. So I'm just going to run this through here. To move that out of the way, because that's in the way now, because I moved it earlier. I'll probably have to bring it forward, guys. And I'm just going to pop this onto my machine, like this. Now it's dead centre. And just make sure that overlaps the die, and that the paper isn't hanging out and get wrecked on the edges. But like I say, I'm cutting it down anyway. And we've got a hole in our card. Dear Sarah, you can have a hole in a card. And we have, which is great. So I can remove that because it was only taped to the die in the centre bit, and none of this card has been damaged. And now this folds in half, and you can see it's pretty much about right. Now, if it isn't, okay, what you can do is just move it over a little bit and rearrange that little fold there. That'd be fine. Okay, so just do that. And now let's get that one over. Don't want it to be wonky. There we go. So we've got those bits there. Next thing to do is to stick the frame and let it dry onto the front of that. So just grab my glue. So the wrong side of the frame that you cut out. Putting glue all around the edge there. Just had a shower and now it's gone again. Crazy weather. Still, it is only May in the UK, so summer's round the corner. Hang tight. Okay, so because I know the centre is, now what I could do, because I've already folded this, is to get it easier lined up for me, is just make it like into a little tent and pop it on and then adjust it to make sure that you're not seeing any of the black through there. So just get it all lined up, shift it about a bit. This one's got a little bit stretched, I think, so it's a little bit bigger in the frame. Just send it back, and when you fold it, it's gonna go in anyway. That's not too bad. We'll leave it like that just for purpose of demonstration. I'm quite happy with that. So now we go back to this piece, okay, and well, no we don't, we do this. Just do this first, because this is, we're not going to be able to, you can see there where the pink's showing, so you can lift it back up a little bit. I'm just going to leave it though, because I'll just be fiddling. But obviously at home you can just use wet glue, you can just put all the pink back to where it belongs. But like I say, I've got to leave it alone. Can't be a perfectionist right now. We haven't got time. So we decide where the top of the card is, and I'm just going to use red liner tape. Now you've got two choices here. You can tie your invisible wire, or whatever you want to call it, invisible thread, around the top there, but you might see a little bit of it on the front, and it does tend to move, so I prefer to have it secured with red liner tape. Stay my pokey tool. Just wonder if it's picking anything up. And just grab a bit of this thread, as you can see. No, you can't. It's invisible. I'm sure you can. It's just a nylon thread. It's got a kink in it, so I'm just going to take that kink off. And then I'm just going to pop that down onto there, like that. And then what I like to do is cover it again with some more red liner tape. Now, I'm not worried about leaving the red liner tape on the back. You know, no one's going to look at the back of this bit and say, oh, she's left tape there, and things like that, okay? But if you are, then just remove that, tear off a little bit of black card, and then put it over the top, and then nobody will see. So the next stage is to unwind your nylon thread so that you've got enough room to do your apertures. So you're going to take it down to the centre. Now, when I use that repositionable tape, I'm going to get another bit of that right now. I'm just going to pull that down to the centre like that, and then use it onto my card to hold that thread in place like that. So now we've got our thread secured, and then I'm just going to put some butterflies in here, you guys, and we can cut this off as well because it's only going to get in the way. So just snip that, and we'll make it fit to the edge of whatever we're putting on there. So what the best way to do your butterflies, I think, so I've got 6 butterflies here, because you obviously need them front and back because it dangles and spins. So you take your largest one and decide where you want it to be, and then put it at the back. And this is why you need symmetrical dies, because you're putting one on the back and one on the front. Now I would just get 3 dies. Remember, if you've got text, to put it up the right way. 3 of the butterflies like this, all different sizes. Have I got 2 the same size? I think I have, haven't I? Oh, well, maybe we'll put the big one in the middle then. Go like that. I thought they were different, but they're not. And double check. Be a nightmare in a minute if not. So just put those underneath the thread, and then move them around until you're happy with the layout of where you've got them sitting. If you like where they're at, then you can pop some tape on. And I use red liner again for this bit, just to keep it 100% in place. I'm just going to snip some off in my hand. Make sure that it's dead through the centre of that nylon, and then capture it. What is it about red liner tape? How all these bits just never want to leave. The static is crazy. I know you can put like your corn flour stamping pad on it, things like that, bit of talcum powder, but they're crazy. Just trap those 3 like that, and you don't have to do 3, you can do 10 or 1. It could just be a sentiment that matches in a smaller die, so you can do all that. So they're secure, so I'm happy they're secure, and I'm going to remove the red liner, but I also want to glue the butterflies, the edges, because they will show otherwise if you don't. So you need to add some glue now all around the edges of your butterfly, and you can either do it to those, or it's probably easier to pick up the butterfly. I've got quite a lot of glue on that one at the moment, so I'll leave it up there for a minute. Pick up the butterfly and just use your baby finger and smear it out to the edges, unless you're allergic to glue, then don't. And then just pop that, and that will help it with the red liner as well, and then line them up so that you can't see any white, because that's the butterfly on the other side. Do the big one. And just add your glue to this one, like that. And don't forget, I'm going to show you in a bit how to make the card the right size. Just pop that one over the top. Not 100% symmetrical, I don't think, but that'll do. And they're probably I've got 4 butterflies here. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's hope it fits. Too many butterflies. Never have enough butterflies. They're great mistake coverers, aren't they? There we go. And just pop that one down. But this card's going to be great for all occasions as well. I love that about cards. You can just come up with a design. You can make it for absolutely every occasion that there is. So they're all nice and secure now. So I'm just going to remove this bit of tape like that, and then I'm just going to snip right up to the butterfly under there. Just take that nylon off. Ow! Sorry butterfly, I didn't mean to hurt you. So you can see you've got your dangly butterflies in place, and like I say, if you're worried about that piece, then you know, make that good. So just fold that back in half like this, and make sure it's nice and folded, because you put that frame on there, that's the word. So now we're going to bring this back in, and then the reason that you don't need it too big is because of the size of your aperture. So you don't want your aperture being any more than like 3.5 inches wide, the whole of the aperture in total. And then you can lay it back over the top like this, and you don't want to see any white. Okay, so if you can see white, you don't want that. You need to pull it forward. Okay, so pull it forward till you can't see any white, and then you can glue it in place. So for speed, I can use tape. She says for speed and can't get the end of the tape, so I'm going to pop a bit of tape onto here to the edge of the card, and then put it onto the edge of the fold, and that way you're securing the edge of that and the edge of this. It's not going to move, and I think that's the best way to secure these. So just remove tape from there. Oops, come on, being naughty. There we go. And this one, like that. And then you need to make sure, and that's why I've kept it over there, that if you pull it out and see the black, that's good. You can see that little tiny black line there, and that's what you want to see. You want to be able to see that. As long as you can see that, that's good. Okay, so make sure that your card's right at the edge, top and bottom, which it's not. It needs to come down. Or is that the mat? That might be the mat, actually. Throwing me off. Yeah, it's the mat. So just a little tiny bit. Move it in a little bit. And then we're just going to fold it in half. And let that tape grab it. It's grabbing my finger more than anything. Make sure you're keeping top and bottom. And there you go, one side's on. Now you're going to flip it around and do exactly the same thing to this side. So you put tape on this fold edge. I can't believe how many different types of card I've come up with. I didn't think I ever would be able to do it, but the more I seem to play and make cards, I'm in my absolute element. And then again to the back of the edge up here. It's not really the edge, but you know what I mean, guys. And take off the tape. Take off the tape. Don't take that tape off. You don't want it to glue to the card. Just keep it there. I'm just making sure everything's lined up still. Pull it around. Get it to capture onto there. And onto there. And don't trap your butterflies inside or anything, you know, in this bit. Just make sure they're away, hanging out. And there, you can see, we've done it. We've made the card. So what you'll notice is when I fold it up, the actual, oh, I've got a bit of tape hanging out there. I'll cut that off. The actual width of the card is 1, 2, 3 and 3/4, which is not an A4. So obviously your American card will come out different. So you just cut down the size of an A4 DL or tall slimline card, which is 4 1/4, and then all you need to do is glue that to the back like that. Okay, and now you've got it. Now the other thing you could do is have a card blank, a DL card blank, and actually glue this to a card blank, but with the edge, the 2 folds touching at the back. It will make it a little bit more bulky if you like, but you'll be able to open up the back piece, or you could alternatively, you know, just glue have a whole sheet and then just glue the back there and have the other bit coming around. So lots of ways to do this, guys. So that I will just glue that down, but thanks for watching, and I will see you again really soon because I'm creating definitely, so I will have lots more videos for you in the pipeline, and stay tuned and have fun making these. So I'm just going to put that up to there in case anyone's still watching. Thank you. And then just get that to go onto the back there like that. Make sure it's level top and bottom. That's why I use wet glue. Take it around the back, just make sure it all fits. Rub down that way, and there you can see you've got your card, and then when you open it up, it's obviously going to dangle. You can't really see it, but it's like that when it's stood up, and it stands up, a nice trifold DL. So thanks for watching, guys. See you again real soon. Bye.